Hi, this is Bill Watkins. We've been looking for the last several weeks at the story of Job. There's an interesting statement about Job made in James chapter 5, verse 11. James said, "Behold, we count them happy who endure. You have heard of the patience of Job and have seen the end of the Lord, that the Lord is very compassionate and of tender mercy." I find that interesting that he talks about the patience of Job. And I'm reading, by the way, from the New King James, but the patience of Job doesn't mean what you and I generally mean by patience. If you're thinking that Job met all this suffering with a quiet kind of confidence in God and never got upset and never complained, then you haven't read the book of Job. Job complains bitterly to his friends and even to God for all that God is allowing him to go through. He's not happy with it at all. He says, "I wish I had died." He'll say, "I wish God was a man and would stand here and tell me exactly what he's thinking." Patience is not the ability to take one setback after another and never get upset. If that was the case, then Job was very impatient. But the patience of Job means that he endured, that in spite of the fact that he felt that God wasn't fair, that life wasn't fair, and that his friends weren't fair, he didn't let go of God. That's the integrity of Job that the Bible talks about in the book of Job, that regardless of how he felt and regardless of how painful his life was, he never let go of God. God recognized that, and he honored that in him. Some of you are type A personalities, and some of you are type triple Z personalities. Some of you can get tense in a hurry, and some of you almost never get tense at all. Now, type A personalities don't understand people that don't ever get upset. They don't understand people really well that don't get nervous and don't get angry about certain things. If life gives you 16 red lights in a row, there are some people who just say, well, that's the way it goes. Other people will fume and fret because they've caught one after another, after another, after another. Which one of these people are right with God? Both of them can be. Neither of them might be. It depends on something other than that. The fact that some people have a hot temper and other people are far more laid back is not a matter of sin. It's just a matter of personality. Do you remember in the life of Paul that Paul and Barnabas would go on a missionary journey? Who is it that they stoned? It's never Barnabas. It's going to be Paul. Why? Because Paul is that kind of person that just irritates folks. He's a type A. He keeps pushing. He gets angry really quick. When John Mark wants to go with them on the second missionary journey, Paul says, absolutely not. He's a quitter. And Barnabas said, hold on, we need to give him a second chance. And as a result of that, they didn't go on the second missionary journey together because Barnabas took John Mark. Which of those guys was right? Well, probably they both were in their own way. John Mark went on to write the Gospel of Mark. And Paul was later able to say when he was in prison that Mark was very helpful to him. He learned better as time went by. It wasn't a sin to be impatient, and it wasn't a sin to just say, let's give them a second chance. Those are personality issues. What he is telling you is that regardless of how frustrated you may be with people, never let go of God. Never let go of the fact that God has a plan for every single human being. Remember that, hold on, and don't give up. Job was impatient with God in the sense that he wished that none of these things had happened, and he told God that. And he said, look, I'm not guilty of any horrible thing. I haven't done anything worse than anybody else. In fact, I've tried to do better, and yet still all this is happening to me. That's okay. If you read the Psalms, you're going to find out that people complain bitterly to God in the Psalms. Sometimes they say, why aren't you listening? Sometimes they say, when will you wake up? Sometimes they say, I'm not even sure that you're here. But in the end, they praise God and they never let go. You're never going to fully understand God. You're never going to figure out why he's doing everything that he's doing. Maybe in eternity we'll look back and see how it all fit together. But whether we do or not, God's still good. Hang on to God regardless of how you feel today. Thanks for watching.